Hey everyone, this is part 2 of 2, and in the previous video I showed you guys how to retouch this image. So we took this to this. So if you want to learn how I did that, go ahead and check out the link that will be in the description, and you can watch that video. For this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how I will color this image. And to begin, I like to always desaturate my image. I mean, not always, but sometimes. So I'm going to go to layer, new adjustment layer, then vibrance. And depending on how sad you're feeling, I'm just joking. Depending on how you're feeling, you want to just drag that saturation down. It's going to help us with the base of the image. I feel like when when the image is like this, it's not really a great base because it's already saturated. So if you bring the saturation down, it's a good foundation. So it just really helps with my coloring. The next thing you want to do is go to the curves layer. So layer, new adjustment layer, and then curves. So I find that when I drag this bottom part down and bring this up, it actually helps with the highlights, bringing out some of that. So if you just play around with it, you can see that the curves is very helpful, and I rarely color without doing curves. So look at what I did already. I mean, just really made the image a little bit more contrasted. And this is kind of the look I'm going for, but I'm gonna just fix it up just a tiny bit here. Trying to get it just right. I think this looks pretty good. The next thing that I'm gonna do is add a gradient map. So layer, new adjustment layer, gradient map. And I already have one in mind. It's like a metal type of gradients, and I'm going to press OK. You can actually get to this by going to this. You go over to the metals tab right here, and you can append and add in all the other gradients. It's a set, so it's a metal set. So you just press OK. I'm going to go from normal to soft light and lower that down to 41%. So just added a little bit of color. And next we're going to go to selective colors. So layer, new adjustment layer, selective color. And we're going to first start out on the whites tab. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some numbers here. And to be honest, I was just toggling back and forth, and when I see something that I like, I kind of just stop at it. So that's kind of my process. Like, I don't have these numbers predetermined when I first start coloring it. So you're gonna have to like go back and forth. For instance, do something like this and kind of see what you end up with. But what I wanted to do is bring out a little bit of that detail, especially right here, the blacks tab. If I bring that all the way out, you can see that it's filling in the black with gray. So I just wanted a little bit of this so it wouldn't be as bold. Like for instance, if I did something like this. So that's kind of where I was going. And also, I didn't want the whites to be super white. So I'm just, again, bringing down that black. And I was just playing with the whites, and I really liked how it looked. As you can see, if I'm playing around with it, you can see how it changes. So just toggle back and forth with each tab, and you'll see that it does make a huge difference, especially selective color. The next thing, layer, new adjustment layer, and then black and white. And we're going to select a tint right here, and I'm looking for a brownish color right here. I'm going to press OK, and I'm changing this layer from normal to soft light. And you want to make sure that it's not too harsh, so I'm lowering the opacity just very slightly. The trick is, and I mentioned this in all my videos, just do little steps and then they eventually compile into something really nice. So you don't want to do like 2 big layers at 100% and go crazy like that. You want to do little layers, and then eventually you'll come up with like a nice color. And one last thing that I want to do is add in some color bubbles, as I like to call them, and I've been calling them since like 2005 when I had my website, color bubbles. So there's two ways to do this. I'm doing this through a gradient, wait, I'm sorry. Is it, yes, gradient fill. So we're going to layer, new fill layer, gradient. And what this is going to do is give you a gradient that you can work with. You can make it into a radial gradient, which is what we want. And when I selected the style from linear to radial, it created it into a radial bubble. So what we can do now is scale it. We can make it bigger or smaller. Place it where we want, and then I'm going to press OK. And I'm going from normal to, you could do screen, you could do overlay or soft light. Now, back in the day, air quotes, back in the day for me, I used to set this to screen. And I just liked how it looked. So what I do is I start off with 1, and then I press Command J and duplicate it. And then to drag this, what you have to do is double click this little gradient here, double click, and only then can you move it. If you try to move it like this, it's not going to work. You have to double click and then drag the radius that I just duplicated to where you want to be. So I'm dragging it to the bottom right here, and I'm pressing OK. Now I do want to add some overlay to this. So what I'm doing is, again, duplicating, and I'm changing the layer setting from screen to, let's try overlay right now. And did you see what that just did? It's adding in that color right there. So you can move it around. And again, just duplicate, double click, and move to wherever you'd like. You can have fun with this. You can make them smaller. You can change the color. Like, let's say you want pink. I used to be obsessed with adding pink. Look at that. You can add pink, like a nice pink color if that's what you like. I don't know. I don't really like using pink anymore. It's the end of a legacy. It's the end of an era. So I'm just going to stick to this color. I'm going to make it a little brighter, maybe change it up a little. And I'm just going to lower this one. And I think that's looking pretty good. If for any reason you don't like these, you don't have to have them. And I'm always going to lower the opacity if I feel like it's overwhelming. So this is what I've come up with so far. And I keep changing stuff. Okay, I like how this looks so far. The last thing that I'm going to do is just add a little bit of vibrance. I think that looks pretty good. Let me show you the before and after of all these layers. I'm going to group these together. So this is before and this is after. I feel like it's a totally new picture. So let me show you again, before and after. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. I hope you guys took something away from it. Feel free to, change up the settings or go through and, experiment and make something on your own. Hopefully you guys like this tutorial, and as always, thank you guys for watching.